In this video, I'm going to go a little deeper into some of the ways that you can use ChatGPT as an Agile coach. The key idea that I'm going to be presenting in this video is the idea that you can tell ChatGPT a little bit about how you would like it to respond. It's not just with facts or a list of things to do, but you can create some subtlety in the way that you use ChatGPT. And just like you would with a human coach, you can kind of have this feedback loop where your preferences, your concepts, your way of working can actually inform how ChatGPT would actually respond to you. So let's take a look. So I've already logged in and I've got a blank chat started. And as usual, we're going to have to give it a little bit of context to start out. So, the easiest way to do this is to copy and paste from somewhere else. So, for example, I've got a previous thing here where I can copy this and we put it in the new chat. We give it a moment to respond. Then we take the same thing. I've got a little bit of the context here about yourself. So we go back to this new chat here. And so I've given it some ideas about what I'm coming from. So I am a Scrum Master working with a single Scrum team. My team has done 15 sprints already. Okay, but I don't want to get into the problem yet. Okay, so instead of talking about the problem and asking for help, what we can do is we can say, I would like you to give me advice that helps me overcome my, let's say, desire to fix things and solve the team's problems myself. In other words, I'd like some help with being more gentle, facilitative, and less directive. And then again, we can say, do you understand? By the way, to put in blank lines, I'm doing shift returns, because if you just hit return, it submits. Okay, so here we go. Now, this is just telling ChatGPT a little bit about style, right? So it's not a problem statement yet. And so, okay, let's see what it comes up with when we give it a problem. And so we can go to the problem statement that I had before. So here we go. This is the problem. We're going to copy this in. And I'm just going to preface it a little bit. So my teams are doing well in many ways, but we often have partially done work at the end of a sprint. What are 5 things I could try as a Scrum Master to help the team and the organization to improve our results and deliver more reliably? Remember, I want to focus on being facilitative, not directive. Okay, so let's see what it comes up with. 5 things. Simple. Hold a sprint retrospective. Facilitate the meeting, encourage the team, and we'll dig into that one. Facilitate discussions around work in progress. Okay, encourage the team to discuss the work in progress at the daily Scrum. Again, what we're getting at first is a little bit of a surface level thing. Oh, here's an interesting one. Use Kanban. Cool. And for what it's worth, that's a very reasonable, quick description of Kanban and why it might help. Encourage the team to use the definition of done. Nice. Okay. And foster a culture of continuous improvement. So none of these things, except possibly use Kanban, are directive. And so what we could do is we could ask it to be a little bit more specific. What can I say to the teams to help foster a culture of continuous improvement. Please write out a sample script that I can read that helps me to approach this in a facilitative manner. Okay, so let's see what it comes up with. Here's a sample script. Hello, team. I want to take a few minutes to talk about the importance of continuous improvement. As a team, we've achieved a lot, but there is always room for improvement. By focusing on continuous improvement, we can work together to identify opportunities for growth and refine our processes to better meet the needs of the team and the organization. To start this conversation, I would like to ask each of you to share one thing that you think went well during our last sprint and one thing you think we could improve. Remember, no wrong answers here and all feedback is welcome. So it's basically getting us a script to start a retrospective, in essence. Now, it's very gentle. And the last paragraph of the script, I want to emphasize that this is a team effort and everyone's input is valuable, is more on the facilitative side. And then there's this little piece of advice. Okay, so we could then take this to our team, try it out, and let's say someone on the team says, well, we don't really know what to do. What do you recommend? And so we can ask that to ChatGPT. So what if one of my team members asks me for my recommendation? I don't want to tell them what to do. Okay. Team member asks for your recommendation. You can respond in a way that encourages them to think for themselves and make their own decisions. Here's an example of how you could respond. Thank you for asking for my recommendation. As your Scrum Master, my role is to facilitate the team's discussions and decisions, but ultimately the team is responsible for making their own decisions. I encourage you to consider all the information and input available to you and make the decision that you feel is best for the team. So, okay, it's actually writing a really, really good, reasonable response. Okay, now I wanted to just pause that and say, okay, first of all, we've come at it from a very particular perspective, namely the perspective of someone who feels like they're too directive, who maybe wants to try a more facilitative approach. We could certainly go from the other perspective. We can come from the perspective of other roles or members of the team or situations. So for example, we could get into some depth about being the product owner and what can we do as a product owner given the particular situation? And it will come up with different appropriate advice. The thing is to be very clear with it about what kind of style or outcome you're looking for the advice that you want from it. If you just ask it for, how do I solve a problem, without telling it some constraints on those solutions, it'll give you some reasonable stuff, but it'll tend to be relatively surface. On the other hand, if you say, here's how I'd like to solve this problem, and here's the style in which I'd like to solve the problem, say, for example, facilitative rather than directive, and give me a script, then honestly, it's going to be absolutely fantastic in coming up with some really concrete and specific ways to help you. That goes if you're a Scrum Master, if you're a product owner, if you're a team member working with internal team dynamics, if you're a manager, anyone can use ChatGPT as an Agile coach.